Inspiration is the engine of creation for all of us. The only thing that will fulfill you in life is you expressing your uniquely creative nature with no excuses. Inspiration that came to me, so that was the pursuit of inspiration, is recognizing when you're not connecting to your authentic inspiration. The only thing that's ever going to give you that feeling of fulfillment is when you are expressing your true creative nature. So that's the pursuit of inspiration is based on your ability to recognize it when it comes, to recognize your authentic, for you, inspiration. And your inspiration at one point just went, I'm making that guitar, right? There was no ifs, ands, or buts. Nope. Just like when you got that, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The important thing is that you exercise your inspiration. What happens after that is out of your control. You know, I know anybody can do anything extraordinary when they get out of the way and they let their joy unfold. That's it. That's the pursuit of inspiration.
So Steve, it is a real pleasure to have you back in Ireland again, and a pleasure to have you sit down with me and maybe share some thoughts. And as I was sharing with you, we've been putting together a new YouTube idea called The Pursuit of Inspiration. And to me, inspiration is something you should actively pursue. It's something I've always gone looking for. Sometimes you don't go looking for it and it hits you like a bus. Maybe like when I was first played Passion and Warfare all those years ago and Steve Vai came into my life. But I'd like to kind of take you back to a time where I think you were going in pursuit of inspiration. So the Ultrazone tour in 2000, not only were you on tour, but you were writing music along the way for your next album, Your Live in Metro World, which I think was a beautiful concept. And you came to Ireland, you came to Dublin to write that piece of music, which I think you struck gold on.
I certainly did. We all did. Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you're doing this because inspiration is the engine of creation for all of us. And the pursuit of inspiration is an interesting phrase. You can't pursue it, in a sense. It comes to you. True inspiration. And I'll try to explain. So there's a difference between, well, first I'll say that I believe, it's not my belief, I just think this is the way it is. Everybody has uniquely inspired creative ideas that are suited for them, and they're based on the things that are interesting to them, that are exciting to them. They're based on the things within them that they see clearly. You understand? Mm-hmm. So when an inspiration comes to a person that's specifically suited for them, it's very different than a fantasy, okay? So the pursuit of inspiration requires you to know the difference between your truly inspired creative thoughts and your egoic fantasies, okay? And here's how you can tell the difference. Your egoic fantasies usually project into the future a time or situation where once the demands that you believe need to be met are met, you will then find happiness, okay? This is a fantasy, and it never works, okay? Because if you're not doing something that is making you happy now, what makes you believe that you're going to be working towards something unhappily to be happy? This is an insane kind of a premise, okay? But we don't see that because we're caught in our heads and we're caught in fearful fantasy futures, okay? So to pursue your unique creativity, inspirations, You have to recognize when you're entertaining fearful fantasies in your mind. And this requires a degree of presence in you where you're able to recognize that you're pursuing something for some future idea of happiness, okay? Because you don't know anything about the future. You just don't, all right? That's a fact. You know, you can make predictions, you could be correct about predictions, but in truth, you don't know anything, you know? You may reach those fantasy goals. You may not. And most of the times, if a person doesn't, they can become even much more unhappier than they were when they set out for these fantasy goals. And then you start becoming bitter and blaming the world for your mishaps and being miserable. You blame others. You will find defenses within yourself to project onto the world, and the world becomes an ugly place because your fantasies weren't met. Conversely, those fantasies could be met, and you can maybe find what you believe is happiness for a little while, but they'll never be good enough. Those fantasies, no matter if you have a fantasy of being a huge rock star, an elite guitar virtuoso, where everybody knows who you are, and you're on the magazine covers, you're making a lot of money, you're winning Grammys, all this stuff, it will not be enough for the ego. It will not be enough for the fear that has always been there, that created the fantasy. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can see in yourself when you're doing that, that's the pursuit. That's part of the pursuit of your true inspiration, of your actual inspiration. So and also a couple of the signposts that can be pointed out that you might be experiencing in the pursuit of a egoic fantasy is you're not enjoying it. There's a lot of fear and blame and criticism. There's a fighting in it. There's a kind of thing in it. There's a desperation. Even frustration is a form of desperation, and it's the sign of the pursuit of a fantasy. Okay. So now, of course, the frustration comes in different levels. Sometimes it's helpful in making choices. Right. Okay, so now let's talk about your true inspirations that are unique for you, that don't have anything to do with what you think you should be doing based on what other people are doing and what they're achieving, based on what they're natural at, that you believe you should be natural at. And because you're not, you suck, you know, in your own mind. There's people we do this all the time. Your inspirations are coming to you. You're an example, okay? You know, when you decided to do what you do, there was no fighting in it. It was like a very clear kind of a vision, right? And it came compacted. So everybody gets those, and they're perfectly suited for you, but they come from the universe through, and they want to come out through you, because when you are engaging in the expression of your uniquely creative aspirations, you'll know, because it comes equipped with the feeling of enthusiasm, not fear.
Yeah.
Okay? It comes equipped with this feeling of joy, in a sense, because when that idea comes to you, you got it. You know you got it. what happens often is then the ego comes in and criticizes your unique creativity by saying, yeah, but that's not good enough. How is that going to give you the fantasy that you're, you know what I mean? And you could fail at this. You didn't think about failing. I didn't think about failing nobody does when something powerful hits them. Right. So you asked about the record Alive in an Ultra World. I have gone on record and said that's the most ambitious live recording in history, and I stand by it. And I'll tell you why. Because what I did, and what we did as a band, the idea came to me complete. It came as an unpacked, low-hanging fruit. That just made me go, oh yeah, I got to do this. It's built for me. Yeah. And it entailed what it entailed was I'm going to record a live record. Well, it's got to be something special though, because everybody records live records, and I don't want to just record a live record. So what can I? So that's my inspiration, you know. So you're going to record a live record. You're going to record each song in a different country, and you're going to write a new piece of music based on the cultural, traditional kinds of music in these cultures. And then you're going to write that song, and you're going to go on tour, and you're going to record it in the country. So now this is back when recording live shows was not an easy thing to do. Yeah. That's a huge task, because we went around the entire world, and I wrote songs it was a glorious project. I enjoyed it in every moment. You know what I mean? Like when the inspiration came, I was happy at that moment. Yeah. And then as I progressed through it, it's the path along the way to the goal that will be telling you whether your inspiration is an authentic one or a fantasy. You understand? Yep. Because you're either feeling good or you're in fear. Okay? So for that, and I've engaged in many fantasy, expectations, and they always turn out bad. Yeah. You know, they may seem good for a little while, but they are not satisfying. Ultimately, they do not satisfy you. They do not fulfill you. The only thing that will fulfill you in life is you expressing your uniquely creative nature with no excuses. This is vital to understand, because that's what you're here for. And I'm here to save the world. That's how you save the world, okay? By contributing with your joyful contributions, and and that's what it is. It's a gift. You get everybody when they're doing that, they're giving a gift. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're not taking. Yeah. They're giving. Okay. So I'll get back to the Alive in an Ultra World. I was so excited, so over the top enthusiastic about this idea. I knew it was right for me, you know? And it required me to go out and purchase all of these CDs from all the cultural music from all of these countries, and it's a double record, so there's a lot of songs. A lot of stuff. And it was so great. I listened to old, like traditional Italian music, Japanese music, the song Burning Rain. It uses the scales, but it's all, my goal was to create a piece of music for each country with a rock band that had the flavor. You know, so you listen to songs like that, Being With You in Paris. It's so charming. It's a Parisian waltz, and
nails it.
Yeah, and the Italian song and Blood and Glory, dun dun. That's totally British, and this was so much fun. Like this was what was suited for me. So you tell somebody that, and some musicians friends that I have would say that you're crazy to do something like that. It's just way too much work, And then some people say, oh, I love that. I want to do something like that. But unless it comes uniquely, then you're just kind of pantomiming somebody else's inspiration. So One of the cultural styles of music that has always resonated very deeply with me is Celtic music. I have so much, everything from the Rankin family to, and I was so excited about the idea of writing a song based on this Celtic music that I was listening to for more than any other cultural music, right? And I knew it was going to come. I didn't have to try. Trying gets in the way, okay? And people don't realize that either. Once you know what you want, all you got to do is sit back and allow it to happen without getting in the way. You got to get out of the way. And then the cooperative components show themselves because your authentic idea, inspiration that came from the universe is controlling everything. You know what I mean? And this is obvious based on the evidence of this is in your life. When you've pursued things that you really enjoyed, everything just popped up at the right time. And if something was wrong or didn't feel right, those challenges are necessary because they point you in another direction. They point you in the direction you need to go. And when you're in touch with your true creativity, you see that. You say, okay, that's what I don't want. What is it telling me that I want? And then you turn the other cheek. And the answer is right there. But many people, they suffer with being caught in the challenge and believing that that's all there is. And then you start talking about it. And then you start exacerbating it, and then you're stuck. So I stand back. I try to stand back, And with something like Whispering a Prayer, which was the song that I wrote for Ireland, I was just waiting, and it came. And it came in that sweet little lullaby of a melody, and I knew that it had some merit. It felt good, and that's all you can really ever go on. You start asking other people, that's a crapshoot. Of course, it can be helpful, to a degree, but it's opinions. You have to resonate with that inspiration because it's the boss. And when you do, that's the joy of life. One of the joys of life, And your inspiration could be as simple as today. I'm not going to do anything but go outside and be with my family in the sun. That's part of it too. So when it came time to write the melody, it came, and but there was something missing, and I knew it. My inspiration said, this is a part of it. But there's something else, and hold on. I said, okay, I got the melody. And then the sustainer was invented, and I got the first one. And when I started playing the melody on the sustainer, it was a done deal. It was like, thank you, I got it now, okay, this is it, this is it.
I was right for it, yeah.
And it just happened. And I was planning on, oddly enough, planning on recording it in Ireland that day. But the drummer had a fight with his wife and he didn't make sound check, and we couldn't rehearse it, so I couldn't record it. And it was the last show of the tour. So I waited, the next leg was months away, and the first show was Buenos Aires. And I was waiting, I'm like, no, we're recording it here, and that's that. And we did, and that's what made it to the record. So that was a inspiration that came to me. So that was the pursuit of inspiration, is recognizing when you're not connecting to your authentic inspiration. When you are, the cooperative components, such as a person appearing who is doing something that's inspiring you uniquely, they're there. Yeah. When so you say, but how do you find those people? So like, who inspires you, Steve? Or who inspires you? I don't know. It's based on what I'm looking for, and I don't even know what I'm looking for sometimes.
It's looking for you.
It's looking for you. But you have to get out of the way, and getting out of the way means you have to recognize your own fear of the future and give your attention to now, because if you're enjoying the unfolding of your creative inspirations now, which is the only time you can enjoy anything now, you're living life to the fullest now. Because the only thing that's ever going to give you that feeling of fulfillment is when you are expressing your true creative nature. And people do it in all different ways. It could be business, it could be anything that feels good to you and right. So that's the pursuit of the pursuit of inspiration is based on you being in touch with your inner being and feeling those unique inspirations that come to you. So another one, for instance, you asked about the Hydra. It came in one package. You could say, well, Jimmy Page, I saw him play double. Okay, that was part of it. It came, and then I designed this guitar, with 2 necks or 3 necks, and then I designed that guitar with 3 necks, and still each time it was like, okay, but there's more. I want more, right? Till finally the inspiration came, and you're going to create and it sounded something like this when it came packaged. You're going to create a piece of music that is standalone, a decent piece of music, and you're going to do it on an instrument with a bass that's half fretless, with a 7-string, with a 12-string that's half fretless, with synthesizers in the guitar, with harp strings, and I just knew this, and who would know that except me, because that was, other people know other things, that are right for them. But for me, it was, that's what I want. Not because I saw this guy do it or it's that guy do it. When I see people doing things like it, it was inspirational.
Did you almost hear that instrument before it was created? Was it a sound that was there in your mind? Was there part of the song Teeth of Hydra? Was that partly formed before the instrument was created to make it a reality?
Well, the way it transpired was, I wanted to write, originally I was going to do 3 records, and they were all trio based, sort of like Alien Love Secrets. The first record was going to be all clean tones, but I was going to do all sorts of effects and stuff to make it different than that. And the second record was all like my normal tone, distorted with a lot of delay and stuff like that. And then the third was going to be like ungodly heavy. So I thought, I need an ungodly heavy instrument. And then the idea came, you're going to create an instrument with a bass, with a 7-string, and all that stuff. So that this all kind of happened, I just unpacked it, it was there. And then I saw myself, in my mind's eye, performing on it. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew that was it. It kept showing itself to me. That's what you want. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to be able to do that. That's right for me, And so then the universe brought cooperative components at the right time, because the idea came 10 years ago or so, and it slowly makes its way to the front of your awareness when the time is right. So for me, some of the turning points for the actual moving forward of the Hydra, and I got out of the way. I said, okay, I know that's what I want. And well, Steve, you could just send an email to Ibanez right now and tell them what you want. I'm like, it's not ready yet. Because that's what my inspiration said. Just get out of the way, shut up, and let it just unfold. I said, okay, hurry up, please, But I was doing all these other things. So then one day, I don't know, 7 years ago or so, I was watching a Mad Max movie. And I saw the guitar the guy's playing, and that was another cooperative component, because I looked at it, I said, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's okay. I got it. you know? I wasn't gonna make a guitar like that, but I liked the outrageousness of it. Totally outrageous, crazy, blowing flames and stuff like that. The Hydra started out with blowers on it, you know, and I never hooked it up. But that's when I said, steampunk. That's the closest kind of look that I was trying to find, and that movie showed it to me. So I went online and I gathered all these examples of steampunk, and I wrote down everything I wanted in the guitar, and it was as easy as an email. But the email couldn't happen until all the cooperative components were in place. And it took me, what, 5 minutes to do the email. Boom. And then those guys at Hoshino and Ibanez, they're sharpening their knives because they're waiting for their cooperative components so that they can fulfill their joyful function. And let me tell you what, that Hydra was their joyful function, man, because these guys went crazy. They loved it. I mean, look at the thing, you know? So they ended up, it took about 5-6 years, 7 years, I think, back and forth, until finally I got the thing. And when I finally got it, at first, the little ego voice in the background kicked in and was like in fear. What am I going to do? How are you going to do this? Why did you think you can do this? And what if it fails? What are people going to think? You're going to look ridiculous. People are going to think, well, what a poser, and it's so alien. But there was a little voice. The big voice was saying, "Shut the up. You got this. I told you you got this. You know you got this. This is built for you to do." And it's not that it's a brilliant, genius idea. It's just something that was right for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like everybody that's watching this can reflect on all of those things that they've created that felt really good when they were doing them, that were right for them, mm-hmm. that maybe even others didn't understand. Yeah. So you have to have a lot of courage too. It has to go beyond courage. You have to be okay with other people having their opinion. Yeah. You got to be totally okay with it. Because it's fine. It's not going to stop me at all. And of course, sometimes people can be helpful and they can be cooperative components, so you got to watch for that, so that's the pursuit of inspiration is based on your ability to recognize it when it comes, to recognize your authentic, for you, inspiration.
Yeah, so, I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to probably not fully understand the Hydra, and,
That's fine.
A lot of people expect a guitar should only have 6 strings and anything above that is why. And I guess that's okay.
Totally. What is it gonna? Am I gonna go against the universe because some people don't agree with what feels good to me? That doesn't make any sense, and they shouldn't do that either when they are feeling right about what they're doing. I think one of the reasons why some people are inspired by the performance on the Hydra is because they're watching a person doing what's really natural for them. Because when you see me playing that, it's transparent. Yeah. It's elegant, and it's mellifluous, so to speak, because that's the way I saw it in my head, and I didn't stop until it was that.
I love the idea that it's that only you can create that piece of music on that guitar. So it's that combination of those elements. That's my offering, and everybody has something to uniquely offer. And interesting, and you will absolutely understand this because it involves you, how powerful and how vital cooperative components are, meaning other people's gifts. You found inspiration in an album cover. Well, first of all, you're uniquely inspired,
desires was to be a luthier. That's the thing that, floated your boat.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a thing that you saw clearly, and you knew that if there's something I don't understand, I'm going to figure it out because that's what I want. You didn't say, I want to write a song, so I have to study music theory for years. You know what I mean? That would have been, no, it's not for you.
Go do it.
What you do is for you. And interestingly enough, you saw an album cover that had an odd guitar on it, which was my album cover, The Ultrazone, which was an illustration. And your inspiration at one point just went, I'm making that guitar, right? There was no ifs, ands, or buts.
No, it was
just, that's your
absolutely
uniquely inspired. And then for me, I'm thinking, I'd like to have something in my show. I always like to have something in my show that's a little crazy, you know what I mean? And the Ultrazone guitar appears. And it's like that we work together. Like I am not any more important than you are in that co-creative venture. We're a team.
Yeah.
The guitar appeared in my life, and then just like when you got that, I got it.
Yeah.
I saw the suit, I saw the lights, I heard the song. The only thing I thought was, I wonder if I could play it. And then I put it on, and I was like, this is more comfortable than a regular guitar. I couldn't believe it. You did a masterful job. We both did. And
but I think I remember talking to you about this. It was definitely a compulsion that night, and I got the inspiration to do it, or the command to do it, the same night that you wrote Whispering a Prayer. So something was going on that night.
There you go. Yeah.
Like in Dublin. But I think what's really cool from my perspective, you talk about a collaboration. When I make a guitar, to me, I'm just making a three-dimensional piece of art until it becomes in the hands of the musician. Then it becomes a guitar. And if I make guitars that just hang in the wall, they're not guitars. They don't fulfill their potential as a guitar until they're played. And I think that was what is so exciting to me about the Ultrazone, is the collaboration.
Yeah.
Seeing its full fulfillment.
Yeah. The important thing is that you exercise your inspiration. What happens after that is out of your control. You don't know, it's none of our business. It's none of your business what happens to it. You're going to let go of that because the universe knows what it's going to do. It doesn't just end there. A guitar may sit on the shelf that you made till long after you're gone. Mm-hmm. And somebody might pick it up but even then it doesn't matter because you experienced the joy of making it. And that was the fulfillment of your function. What happens after really doesn't matter in a sense. Of course it's nice if.
And I think if you go that mindset and you give that side up, you're much freer in your creativity.
Absolutely. It enables you to go deeper into your creative instincts. Yeah.
I'm interested also in creativity with restriction. So sometimes you have a complete freedom that you can do anything. And sometimes you have a restriction and you have to create something within certain confines. Like when you had your shoulder surgery. And you had that confine of only being able to use one arm, you wrote that beautiful piece of music.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, do you believe in infinity? The concept of infinity, that, that the universe, you kind of know that it's infinite, and so the idea of limitations is an illusion. Because if infinity exists, it has to exist everywhere. That's what it is. So you can set up parameters, but within those parameters is still the infinite. So if I had one, arm, and I wanted to do something with it's infinite what I can do, what anybody can do. But you got to follow your inspiration. You know what I mean? So I do that quite often when I'm constructing songs or solos. I give myself limitations. I say, okay, for this solo, you're going to use one finger on one string. That's your limitation. Well, guess what? There's infinite things that could be done with one finger on one string that you can't repeat. You'll never repeat yourself perfectly the same. So, no, I'm playing the same note. No, you'll never repeat yourself perfectly. You'll never touch that string exactly the same twice ever in your life, you know? And that's just the one string. Let's not, you know, so it's infinite within parameters. So what was, did I answer the question?
Well, I guess you did.
Yeah. So with the knapsack thing, I didn't give that much thought at all. No, that came to me based on where I was at. You know, I was very stupid simple. I was sitting there, I couldn't move my hand. I just had surgery on my thumb, and the new Black Onyx Pia came in, and I put my fingers on it, and that was it. I said, okay, now I know what I'm gonna do. Boy, am I excited. I saw the whole thing. I saw the whole thing. Right in that, came compact. Now, was I thinking about how it was gonna affect the world, and whether it was gonna fail, or whether I was gonna be, you know, and all this stuff? No. Of course, those thoughts come along in the background, but I have no control over them. I have control over what I choose to do, and I followed something that was an enthusiastic idea. Oh, wow. It was more than enthusiastic. I was jumping out of my skin. You know, and I know it was hard. There's a lot of challenges in it, you know? But boy, it's so rewarding to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
Thank you. I'm sorry we're not playing it yet.
No?
No, we weren't. I'm hoping to get it on the next tour. We just didn't have enough time. And I got it, my fingers it takes a while of being on tour to get them to a point where they can handle everything in a show of mine, you know? And that song is relentless. It's beastly on the guitar. I mean, you gotta it's like running a marathon for your fingers.
Yeah.
For me, at least, you know? I mean, there's players now that could, you know, hold their breath through it and do it.
Do you find your playing, you know, has it changed much in how you maybe approach your playing and the style of your playing just over the years?
Oh yeah. A lot of that's based on, everybody, at least in various fields, people may have peak performances. For athletes, based on the sport, it could be at 21 or 25 or 35. You know, if you're a tennis player and you're 45, you know, I guess Pete Sampras will prove us all wrong or something. But same thing with musicians. There's peaks. So there's certain there's peaking in different areas. Like as far as technique, you know, chops and stuff like that. I watch videos of myself back when I was in my 30s, and I'm like, well, who's that guy, you know? So there's things that change. You know, my hands are you know, they run out of gas a little sooner. But there's things that I can do now on the instrument that I just wouldn't have, I didn't have the maturity to do then, you know? So you're always, if you find something you really like when you're young and you stick with it because that's what you want, not because you think that's what you should do, but that's what you want, you're gonna inevitably go really deep, you know? And for the level of a person's going deep varies, and people will criticize what that is in another. So when I say my level of going deep, produced at this point in my life things like Knapsack, the Hydra, you know, that kind of, and Violet in general. That's as deep as I go with that kind of thing right now. But if you watch like the Hydra, there's not a lot of shred, you know. It's not nothing I played most guitar players can't do, you know, as far as But when you apply the mechanics of it,
Yeah.
well, that's different.
It's quite a physical workout.
Yeah.
Did that take a lot of practice? I mean, that just try and. It's not a normal guitar player's movements.
No, not at all. Yeah, it really required, because it's 50 years of knowing if you want to play this note, you hit it. I had to break all that, 3 times. But it wasn't so, I knew I could do it, and that's the only reason it happened. And if you know you can do something, and I believe that most people that are interested in that kind of thing could do that. You're going to see kids that have seen that video and are going to take it to a level that is astonishing. And they're already doing it, There's already people doing that kind of thing. So, what was the question again? I want to make sure I answered it.
Just about the physical.
Oh yeah. So when I sat down behind the thing, I knew that I had to start really slow because I don't have great independence. Like I can't play drums, I can't play piano. I could compose for the greatest piano player and drummer and all that, but I can't even sit down and play a Beatles song. I see it all, composers, people that compose, so to speak, they can see it in their head, Performers hear it differently, businessmen see things different in their head, you know what I mean? Everybody sees it in their head. So I saw it in my head, but I didn't know how to do it, So I had to start really slow, and it's bum, 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 bum. Okay, I could do that. Bum, 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 fring, bum, bum, fring. Okay, I can do that. Let me practice that for a day, or whatever. And then bum, bum, fring, then bum, bum, fring. So that's all I had. But I knew it had to be insane. It had to be, it's for me at least, it had to be much more than just bum, 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 ba, bum, ba. It had to be a wicked-ass looking guitar and a guy wearing a black leather outfit, you know what I mean? And just, moving like that. It's all part of what I,
Part of the theater.
I'm an entertainer. That, if you go to Vegas, you don't criticize the entertainer for wearing something or doing something extraordinary. You just enjoy it. It's a presentation. That's what I've always loved, So when I started to connect the dots, first and foremost, the melody I wanted to have a good melody, for me at least, the best melody I could write. And I'm going bum, bum, okay, now I got to get this melody to fit. I have to get a melody to fit that sounds seamless and isn't being compromised by a gimmickry, or something like that. So because I knew that, it happened. And you start looking for those things. So the melody came in and I navigated it and I kind of got through the verse, I'm like, wow, okay, I think I can do this. But when I got to the B section with the that stuff, when it locked, any fear that I had that I wasn't going to be able to deliver this vanished, because I saw that I could do it, and it was such an emotional moment for me,
Thanks.
Yeah, because it's like I can do it. I really can, and I know now that all I got to do is keep doing it and make it effortless. And that was a remarkable, powerful life experience. It sounds pretentious, but if you're hearing it in the way that I'm expressing it, it's not. There's a humility in it. There's a gratitude and appreciation. It's not, I did this and you didn't, because I know that's not true. I know anybody can do anything extraordinary when they get out of the way and they let their joy unfold. That's it. That's the pursuit of inspiration.
Wow. Well, I think that's pretty deep.
I can't help it.
Yeah, it's.
How many times am I going to get to talk to the world? And
Well, Steve, it's always a pleasure to sit down.
it's always good to see you too.
And yeah, I think you've been a huge inspiration to me and a huge inspiration to so many others. So, when we started to think about this idea about inspiration, we had to talk to you.
Well, thank you. And I think you're going to get a lot of great interviews from people. And they may be very different, but others will hear what they need to hear.
Yeah, I think everybody has a different interpretation of inspiration.
Yeah, and everybody has different ears in what they're listening to. For some people, what I'm saying, they'd just be crazy talk. But for some people, they'll go, okay, I get it. And then somebody that says, in order to be inspired, you got to go listen to a lot of different music, right? And find what, and you got to, whatever it is. And they're right too. But I'm just taking it from a different angle.
If you were to sum it up in one sentence, what inspires you?
What inspires me?
One sentence.
Life.
One word?
One word. That's all you need. Just being here. Being here. You're worthy. You're worthy of being inspired. It's what you're here for. And you're doing great work.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.